Noted, sir. Your hand was up, and he's definitely going to interview on this. The fact of the matter is this. The reality is technology has added value. The reality is with the brightest minds and with the brightest opportunities and the brightest avenues that have opened up, technology is escalating to the next level. The reality of the matter is also this, that when technology comes up there, as Ayush rightly said, it kind of becomes a threat to human existence, to human potential, to the development of human potential. I was in Singapore one year for an event called Masters of the Century. I was one of the keynote speakers, and I came up on stage. I did my bit. I love cracking jokes, cracking people up. There's about 2,000 people in the audience, not a single Indian face. I mean, you don't have a single Indian face. That's when you test your grounds, because when there's Indians, they can immediately connect. I'm an Indian, you can really frequencies match. But there I was looking at people, they enjoyed it. They gave me a standing ovation. And I went backstage. And when I went backstage, everybody started shouting, Sophia, 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 Sophia. And I said, these guys got it wrong. Like, and if you want an encore, they should have shouted, Gour Gopal, Gour Gopal. I said, these guys have gotten it wrong. Once I did an event and people did shout because they wanted me to be up on stage again. Gour Gopal, Sophia, Sophia. I turned to my secretary. I said, who the heck is this Sophia? So this one guy comes up to me and says, would you like to meet Sophia, sir? I thought, oh, I don't mind actually, considering the kind of enthusiasm from the audience. Looks like Sophia must be a someone. And I thought in my mind it was probably Sofia Vergara from Modern Family. So they said, we'll take you to see her. So I was walking towards the green room where Sophia was, in my mind thinking of any possible reference from Modern Family, so that when I meet Sofia Vergara, I say, ma'am, I saw this and it was a real nice night. Good to connect on something that is common. As I came to the green room, there was two huge bouncers. Their muscles were rippling out of their coats like real out there. They were standing there. I said, this guy said, I'd like to see Sophia. He said, sorry, Sophia is getting plugged in. I said, Sophia is getting plugged in? Seemed like a new slang. Seemed like a new slang, Singaporean slang. What's plugged in or zoned in? So I thought plugged in would mean like, speakers like to get plugged into the ambience, the atmosphere, just be in their space. And I was thinking like this, maybe she's doing makeup, maybe she's doing some makeup, using some device to plug in. And soon after, the doors opened, and there were two guys who were carrying the first ever humanoid that was made on planet Earth, who's called Sophia. And when they say she's getting plugged in, means literally getting plugged in and getting charged. Sophia came up on stage. I sat in the audience to listen to what Sophia said. And they asked her a very touchy, sensitive question. The funny part is the answer was programmed in Sophia. They asked her, do you think artificial intelligence and the technology that has come up today will replace human beings? The question that Ayush has asked me. I cannot forget what Sophia had answered. In fact, my second book, Energize Your Mind, begins with this story, right? The story of Sophia. And I can't forget what Sophia said. Sophia said, it needs a human being to create a Sophia. And therefore there's no question ever that a Sophia can replace a human being, because without a human being, a Sophia cannot function. You need an answer to be programmed into a machine. And even with the growth of some of these artificial engines with no names, the day before yesterday, I typed into one of them, and you know what I mean. No names. You know what I mean. I typed in to figure out the details of one of my friends who's a massive businessman. His son, who's now leading the business, to check details. Guess what, guys? He's just about 34 years old. This particular AI engine said that he was dead in 1944. Was dead in 1944. It requires a sentient human being to run technology, to create technology. And that's why Sophia, I remember, said, I'm not here to compete with human beings. I'm here to complement human beings and what human beings do. And what human beings do, to complement what human beings do, it's our human responsibility to, while we use all technology, to while we upgrade to the best that is available, to not do away with the human potential that is behind it.
We hope it remains that way, Swamiji, but you mentioned your book, Energize Your Mind, and now that you've given us the little bit of a trailer, it seems very alluring. There's also an app that you've come up with, Monkify.
Right.
Now that's very interesting.
Yeah.
From your long career, quitting HP in a year, then obviously going to the monastery, you learned the ways of the world, now traveling the world, and now an app. What is Monkify all about?
Yeah. What's Monkify all about? The tagline for Monkify is, be a monk without having to be a monk. Monkify your life without having to be a monk. And when we are talking about monk has very little to do with a hairstyle or with a dressing style. And monkhood has a lot to do with a set of universal values and principles that we follow in life. And therefore, I know CEOs who are like monks because they lead based on those principles. And I know monks who are like CEOs because instead of following these principles, they just lead businesses without empathy. I remember going to San Francisco and speaking at Salesforce. And what was beautiful about speaking at Salesforce was they gave me a tour of the entire building. And on every single floor of their offices at Salesforce, they had a mindfulness zone. More than half of the offices that Salesforce has a mindfulness zone where their people can go, their people can unwind, their people can meditate, their people can practice mindfulness. Officially designated zones where they can keep their smartphones away. And guess why? Because Mark Benioff at Salesforce firmly believes that two things are required for the success of a business: thoughtful decision making and innovation. And when it comes to decision making, when the mind is all cluttered up, we decide more based on feelings than on facts. To be able to keep feelings outside of our decisions and base our decisions on objective facts, the mind needs to be uncluttered, and mindfulness and meditation was included there to unclutter the mind for objective decision making. Mark Benioff, not me. Secondly, Mark Benioff also felt that when it comes to innovation, a lot of times we need to have a beginner's mindset. When we know a lot, it's kind of counterintuitive. When we know a lot, how can we have a beginner's mindset? But when we know a lot, Mark Benioff firmly believed and believes that we need a fresh beginner's mindset. And what mindfulness